Hey up everyone, I'm back again. So I just wanted to do a very quick little video here comparing the Z3 Compact against the iPhone 6 in terms of the performance, build quality and camera, etc. And I have to say, I think a lot of people will be looking at these two handsets being as though that they're quite good in one hand, and they're probably the most high profile, more compact handsets available at the moment. And I have to say, you know, whichever one you do get, you're going to be very happy in terms of the build quality and the feel in the hand. Both of them feel very easy to use with one hand, which is quite refreshing coming from a lot of phablets and stuff like that. But I think I do prefer the back of the iPhone in terms of its ability to mask kind of fingerprints and things like that, as well as its very premium metallic type of look about it. It just gives you a very reassuring look, like you've just spent 500, 600 on it. Whereas the back of the Z3 Compact is a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's very premium in terms of the glass, but you do have to keep polishing it off or you will get quite greasy looking. So it's premium, don't get me wrong, but I do prefer the back of the iPhone. However, the Z3 Compact obviously gives you the waterproofing, which you don't get on the iPhone, and that's with the use of flaps. Again, it's a bit of a double-edged sword though, because now and again you are finding yourself, you know, really fiddling around trying to get them open when you want to charge a device. But thankfully you can plug it into a Sony dock to alleviate that. But obviously the iPhone is slightly bigger at 4.7 inches, so you are going to get a little bit more in terms of the screen real estate. But then again, both of them make very good use of their bezel size being quite small, so you do get a physical shutter button as well on the Z3 Compact, which can help with your photography, and obviously you get like the standard array of things as opposed to the proprietary lightning adapter on the iPhone. But both of them have very good button placement as well, in terms of like the power on button, very reachable, and when you do turn them both on, you are greeted with IPS display types, which are probably among the best you can get on mobiles right now in terms of the quality of them. Yes, they're not full HD or quad HD, but you're not really gonna moan about these screens, with the Z3 coming in with its 319 ppi triluminous display technology, and that's backed up with its X-Reality engine, and that's up against the iPhone, which comes in with a retina display, which is 326 ppi, so it's slightly higher, and it comes with an oleophobic coating as well, and I have really found that that does help work to like prevent fingerprints on the screen. As you can see, it is a bit cleaner than the Z3 Compact, but aside from that, you know, the screens on these devices are absolutely top notch, and you know, they're really good for the viewing angles, and I think the iPhone's is a little bit brighter when you bump it up to the max. We can just do a quick test of that though. Just bump them both up. So get them right to the top, and then get a little tool which will show you the brightness of them. We should do. So they're both on the max at the moment, and we can see that the Z3 gets about about 428 when it comes to the max brightness, but the iPhone well up there at 617. So you're going to get slightly better viewability when it comes to your outdoors, I think, on the iPhone, which is very good for, you know, avoiding having to kind of put your hand over it to see what's on the screen. But in terms of the actual you know, pick the font and things like that, very good on both devices. Not had any issues whatsoever with jagged text or anything like that. But moving on from that, you're going to get different processor in both. You got your Snapdragon 801 clocked at 2.5 GHz with 2 gigs of RAM in the Z3 Compact versus your Cyclone dual core 1.4 GHz processor with a PowerVR GX 6450 quad core graphics chip and 1 gig of RAM, which is quite surprising. And I've found that generally the actual performance on both devices is about equivalent. Like when you're going into stuff, the Z3 Compact is probably among the fastest devices you can get on Android. I think it's coupled with the 720p display and the very small form factor. It just flies compared to a lot of devices, and even feels, I'd say, a little bit faster than the iPhone when going in and out of stuff. And the iPhone has been very good compared to a lot of Android devices I've been testing it against. So as you can see, it's going in and out of stuff. Very fast on the Z3. But the iPhone obviously is no slouch, you know, it can certainly keep up with the Z3 in many aspects. And you know, in terms of the other aspects which it does keep up with the Z3, I think, is in terms of the camera. Now both of them obviously are different in terms of the technology, with the Z3 sporting its 20.7 megapixel camera, which is a G lens with Bion's processing, and I found it to be among the best you can get on Android, but it's not amazingly better than the one that you'll find on the iPhone, which is a more conventional 8 megapixel camera, which comes in with its dual LED tone flash, and gives you also full HD at 60 frames per second, which is quite cool. So it also has a focal pixel kind of technology as well, which means that when you're doing your kind of focusing, you'll find that it's very kind of quick to focus. As you can see there, maybe you can't, but I can see it. Basically it comes up with the little box when it's focusing, and it's very quick, whereas on the Z3 it's fast, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't say it's as fast as on the iPhone. So you can probably see there a little bit, it's a little bit slower to adjust, but nevertheless Superior Auto, I think, on the Sony does an excellent job in terms of like getting the right conditions for the right shot without having to do much on it. And you can take that off obviously and get your manual thing going, and you do get a whole load of different options on the Z3 Compact which you don't get on the iPhone, such as for example time shift burst, which is quite cool, AR effect, you know, for a bit of fun. So 4K as well is supported for the video, you don't get that on the iPhone. So you know, I think the camera experience in terms of the software is more fully featured than the iPhone, and I still can't find on the iPhone where to change it so that you can do kind of widescreen shots. I've been looking everywhere on it. I've been looking in the settings, I've been looking absolutely everywhere, and I can't find it. I might have to look online to see where it is. But other than that, I do like the interface of the iPhone's camera. You can obviously access your video just by swiping to the right there, slow-mo, time-lapse, and some other stuff as well, if it'll let me out. Will it let me out? There we go. And your panorama as well. As I said, you know, I have done some shots with both of them, and you can see for yourself, you can see many differences. Personally, I can't really see a massive difference with a 20.7 megapixel versus an 8 megapixel. I think the iPhone does an excellent job with a smaller megapixel count. I have to say, I'm constantly surprised at the quality of the iPhone's pictures in terms of their true-to-life look. Comparing it to the Z3 Compact, I'd say that they look a little bit more realistic in terms of the colours, etc. The Z3 Compact seems to take very light pictures, and that seems to be quite evident on a lot of the pictures I took. Like it's particularly evident on darker kind of pictures like this one with a big shadow in it. You can see that it's completely light on the Z3, as well as in low light as well. I did expect the Z3 to do well here because of its high ISO rating, and as you can see, it does seem to light up subjects a lot better than the iPhone. But still, I'm very impressed with the iPhone's performance, considering it's only at 8 megapixel versus a 20.7 megapixel. Hey up everyone, so very nice sunny day today, and a good opportunity to test out the iPhone 6 versus the Z3 Compact in terms of the video recording, and you can check out the focusing on both of them. So I can't really see much on the screen, but it looks like they both did that. Try from a different angle. Looked like the iPhone was a bit clearer there on the screen. Can't tell for sure with this sun being so bright. They both look good quality nevertheless, and hopefully they'll come across as that on the PC. Apart from the camera, it is worth mentioning that you're getting a bigger battery on the Z3 Compact, and that battery is a 2600 mAh, which is non-removable, versus 1810 mAh on the iPhone. And as you can see on this video, it is on red at the moment. I've still not charged it very much since been using it. It's been absolutely fantastic when it comes to the battery life. Really impressed with what Apple's managed to do on it. But I would say in general the Z3 Compact is just a boss phone when it comes to the battery. You're easily going to get, I'd say, 1.5 to 2 days out of it on like just average use. Maybe even 3 days if you're a light user. And I think it's probably to do with the 720p screen, as well as a very decent MAH. So battery issues are not going to be an issue on both of them, but the Z3 is slightly stronger in that aspect. In terms of the software, I'm not a pro on iOS. I'm still getting to grips with it slowly but surely. But I'm certainly digging it in terms of its level of polish over the Android ecosystem. A bit disappointed that Sony's not brought out the official lollipop yet on the Z3 Compact. I think it is, high time for it. At the moment it is running Android KitKat 4.4.4, so decent software but not the latest one. And I think some of the things I like over the iPhone in particular in regards to these two handsets is the value added stuff that Sony's put into it, like the Walkman app, which is constantly being updated. As you can see, it looks slightly different nowadays. I think they recently updated it, and I think the level of kind of stuff you can do in there in terms of the sound effects is unparalleled really compared to other handsets. For example, you can put on all these different sound effects and stuff that I've never even heard of. But in terms of the overall experience, I think that still the iOS platform is more mature and polished compared to the Android platform, even though you've got Sony's skin on there, which does make things look quite nice. You are going to get very nice polish on a lot of the apps. I've talked about Uber, for example, which looks completely different, and things like Groupon as well. For example, if I just open up something on Groupon, you can see exactly the same page here. When you click on it, kind of just goes straight into it on the iPhone, whereas I'm waiting for ages on the Sony. And it's these little things which add up to me, as well as the actual speed of the device and performance, like multitasking, for example. You can just go back into something, no reloading. It's really fast and fluid whatever you're doing. Absolutely beautiful experience. Whereas on obviously kind of lower end Android handsets, you do see it like more in terms of the lags, and this device is relatively decent when you compare it to some others, probably helped by 2 gigs of RAM. But in order to really impress me, I think I'd like to see a 1 gig RAM, run buttery smooth like the iPhone. So both of them have strengths and weaknesses really. You're going to get a lot of Sony value added content on the Z3 Compact, especially good if you've got a PS4, it all links in. But with the iPhone, you're going to be getting the best, well, probably subjective, but one of the best like ecosystems available at the moment. And some other things to mention. Obviously the Z3 Compact supports microSD up to 128 gigs. Very good for your 4K recording. But it doesn't have a fingerprint sensor like the iPhone, so you can just hold your thumb there and go into it very quickly and seamlessly. And obviously the speaker as well on the iPhone is on the bottom edge. We can just do a quick test of them just to see how they measure up against each other. I think the speaker is also on the bottom edge on the Z3, so it should be about comparable. Ooh, the iPhone just pips it then when it comes to the speaker, but both of them don't really stand out in that type of aspect. Both fail, miserably compared to like the Moto G or HTC One type of phones. And yeah, I'm going to wrap it up about here now, I think. But I'm very liking both of these devices. I think that they're pretty much the pinnacle of what each platform offers in terms of convenience and portability. And both of them do have slight drawbacks here and there. This one, for example, very slippery. Nearly dropped it a couple of times on using it out and about. Probably could do with a case, but then again that hides the premium and you don't want that. The iPhone, again, it's I'd say a solid all-round kind of handset, but then again it is like nearly twice as expensive as the Sony. I forgot to mention that as well. You can double tap it and it will come on, which is quite cool. But you are paying for the quality, obviously, as well as the ecosystem. But is it worth twice as much as that? No 4K or anything like that. As well as the specs being a bit modest. It's up to you, really. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little comparison review, and leave a comment or like the video, and I will see you very shortly. Cheers.